In an era where the world was a mosaic of gods and men, kings and prophets, one land stood out among all others: Israel, a nation forged by divine covenants and epic battles, home to miracles that echo to our days. But not all echoes are of triumph and faith. Some are shadows of ancient conflicts, whispers of power, corruption, and souls lost in the struggle for spiritual and terrestrial dominion. At the heart of this land of contrasts emerges the figure of a woman whose name has become synonymous with intrigue and defiance in the eyes of the divine: Jezebel. Born a Phoenician princess, she crosses the cultural abyss to become Queen of Israel, bringing not only a new dynasty but also the gods of her homeland. Her story is a tapestry woven with the threads of power, passion, and doom, a tale that challenges the passage of time. But who was Jezebel, really? A villain damned for eternity, or a woman ahead of her time, caught in a web of politics, religion, and power? Join us as we unveil the life of this enigmatic queen, exploring not only the tales recorded for eternity by the pages of the Bible, but also the heart and mind of a woman who challenged a kingdom and its gods. This is the tale of Jezebel, a story of love and hate, faith and betrayal, and the eternal power of the choices we make. In a world governed by gods and kings, Princess Jezebel of Sidon was born under the gleam of power and devotion. The daughter of King Ethbal, a priest of Astarte raised to royalty, Jezebel was nurtured in a realm where religion and politics danced together in a complex ballet. Her childhood was marked by the luxury of a Phoenician palace and the sacred ceremonies dedicated to Baal, the storm god, and Astarte, the goddess of love and war. These influences shaped Jezebel, forging a woman of unwavering faith and a cunning political mind. Jezebel's destiny took a new direction when she crossed the Great Sea to marry Ahab, king of Israel. This marriage was not just a conjugal tie, but a strategic pact promising to strengthen the relations between Sidon and Israel. However, Jezebel carried with her more than the hopes and expectations of her Phoenician people. She also brought her gods, determined to establish them in her new land. In Israel, Jezebel did not find the vast assemblies of Baal and Astarte worshippers she was accustomed to, but a people whose faith in Yahweh was as ancient as the hills upon which their cities were built. Undeterred, Jezebel embarked on an ambitious project of religious transformation. With Ahab's support, she built an imposing temple for Baal in Samaria, elevating his priests to positions of influence and power. Elaborate ceremonies and public sacrifices became common, as Jezebel worked to intertwine the worship of Baal into the fabric of Israeli society. But the rise of Baal worship under Jezebel's aegis was not welcomed with open arms by all. The prophets of Yahweh, seeing their ancestors' faith threatened, resisted. Jezebel, viewing them as obstacles to her desire to unify worship under Baal, launched a persecution campaign against these men and women of faith, seeking to eradicate their influence from Israel. The tension between Yahweh's worshippers and the proponents of Baal worship, fueled by Jezebel's unyielding determination, set the stage for one of the most dramatic confrontations in biblical history. As Jezebel pressed forward with her vision for Israel, a figure emerged from the shadows, ready to challenge not only her power but the very essence of her faith. This was Elijah, a prophet whose faith in Yahweh was as deep as Jezebel's in Baal. The battle between these two formidable characters would define the future of Israel and etch Jezebel's name in history, not as a mere queen but as an icon of power, faith, and controversy. As Jezebel's influence seeped into the foundations of Israel, a wind of opposition began to blow, fueled by the unwavering faith of one man, Elijah. This prophet of Yahweh, whose life was as austere as Jezebel's was regal, rose as a symbol of resistance against Baal worship. The tension between Jezebel's and Elijah's divergent beliefs was not merely a religious dispute. It was a struggle for the heart and soul of a nation. The conflict reached its apex on Mount Carmelo, a stage chosen by Elijah for a challenge that would go down in history. Summoning Baal's prophets and the people of Israel, Elijah proposed a definitive test of divine power, that the true God respond with fire from the sky. While Baal's prophets cried out and contorted in vain, the sky remained silent, witnessing their inefficacy. Then it was Elijah's turn. After rebuilding Yahweh's altar and dousing it generously with water, he uttered a simple prayer. The result was instant and devastating. Fire descended from the sky, consuming the sacrifice, the altar, and even the water around it. This miracle reignited the faith in Yahweh among the people of Israel, who turned against Baal's prophets, marking a humiliating defeat for Jezebel and her cult. However, Elijah's victory was half triumph, half the unleashing of a storm. Jezebel, furious at the defeat of her prophets and the demoralization of her God, issued a death threat against Elijah, forcing him to flee into the wilderness. But this persecution only solidified Elijah's determination, turning him into a martyr in the people's eyes and a symbol of resistance against Jezebel's tyranny. The struggle between Jezebel and Elijah was more than a matter of rival gods. It was a battle between two ways of life, two worldviews that could not coexist. Jezebel's rise had been marked by her iron will and relentless determination, but the resistance led by Elijah showed that a people's spirit cannot be easily bent or broken. The saga between them not only challenged the status quo but also sowed the seeds of a spiritual renaissance in Israel, reminding the people of their ancestral faith and the power of staying true to it, even in the face of the greatest adversities. Jezebel's fall was not a sudden event but a gradual decline marked by betrayals, rebellions, and the irrevocable loss of influence. Following the challenge on Mount Carmel and the subsequent defeat of the prophets of Baal, Jezebel's authority over Israel began to wane. The threat she made against Elijah, while showing her unwavering determination to maintain her position and beliefs, ended up isolating her further as public opinion turned against her. The death of Ahab in battle left Jezebel vulnerable, exposing her to the winds of change sweeping across Israel. Her son, Ahaziah, who inherited the throne, lacked the strength or inclination to protect his mother's interests against the growing anti-Baal sentiments. The brief reign of Ahaziah, followed by that of Jehoram, only weakened Jezebel's legacy further as prophets and leaders, inspired by Elijah's courage, began to call for a return to the exclusive worship of Yahweh. The real turning point came with the rise of Jehu, anointed by one of Elijah's prophets as the next king of Israel. Jehu represented a direct threat not only to Jehoram's reign but also to Jezebel's legacy. His rebellion was swift and brutal. Jehoram was killed, and Jehu marched to Jezreel, determined to eradicate the remnants of Baal worship from Israel, which included the end of Jezebel herself. Jezebel's final confrontation with her fate was as dramatic as her life. She presented herself to Jehu with the dignity and pomp of a queen, even in the face of certain death. Her fall from the palace window, followed by the humiliation of having her body left to be eaten by dogs, was a cruel end that symbolized Israel's complete rejection of her reign and religion. But Jezebel's legacy is more complex than the story of her fall. She remains a powerful figure in biblical history, a woman who faced a male-dominated society with strength and conviction. Her story is often seen in a negative light, but it can also be interpreted as a woman's struggle to maintain her identity and beliefs in a world vehemently opposed to her. Jezebel's story ends, but the questions she raises about power, faith, and identity continue to echo. She challenged the status quo, faced unimaginable adversities, and, although she was defeated, her story survives as a testimony to human complexity and the eternal conflict between the forces of tradition and transformation. Share your reflections, ideas, and discussions in the comments below. If Jezebel's story inspired you or provoked new questions, share this video so others can also explore the nuances of this timeless narrative. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep explorations of the stories that have shaped our past and continue to influence our present. Together, we'll unravel the mysteries of ancient scriptures and pave the way for deeper understandings. Until next time, continue seeking, questioning, and exploring the stories that unite us.